In this video, we'll train TJBot to listen and analyze emotions, lighting the LED one of 5 colors, representing the emotions anger, disgust, fear, joy, and sadness. In the Node-RED editor, drag an inject node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the inject node and set the payload to the string value of start. Give it a name, start listening. Add a second inject node. This time, set the payload to the string value of stop. Give it a name, stop listening. Drag a change node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the change node and set message.mode to message.payload. This copies a value from the message.payload property over to the message.mode property. Drag a listen node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the listen node to configure it. There are a number of languages TJBot can listen to, thanks to IBM Watson. Select the US English model from the drop-down menu labeled Listen. The Listen node uses Watson's speech-to-text service. We need to get these credentials from IBM Bluemix before we can use it. Click on the link icon next to the speech-to-text heading. I'm already signed into my IBM Bluemix account. Create your IBM Bluemix account at bluemix.net. Click on Create. Each Watson service has separate service credentials. Click on Service Credentials in the menu on the left. Click on View Credentials to display the credentials. Copy the username and password into the input boxes under the Speech-to-Text section. Drag an Analyze Tone node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the node to configure it. The Analyze Tone node uses a Watson Tone Analyzer service. We need to get these credentials from IBM Bluemix before we can use the node. Click on the link icon next to the Tone Analyzer heading. Click on Create. Click on Service Credentials in the menu on the left. Click on View Credentials to display the credentials. Copy the username and password into the input boxes under the Tone Analyzer section. The Tone Analyzer node has several types of tones it can return: emotion, language style, and social tendencies. In the Tones drop-down menu, select Emotion. Drag a function node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the node to configure it. Give the function node a name, Find Top Emotion. Copy the JavaScript from the GitHub repo into the function. This code finds the emotion that scores the highest and puts it into the message.payload property. Drag a switch node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the node to configure it. To test which emotion scored highest, set the property to message.payload.tone_ID. Add 5 conditions, one for each emotion: anger, disgust, fear, joy, and sadness. Drag a shine node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the node to configure it. For the first shine node, click on the pencil icon and tick the checkbox to enable the LED. Select Shine from the Mode drop-down menu. Select the color red. Repeat the process 4 more times for the colors green, magenta, yellow, and blue. Drag a debug node from the palette onto the canvas under the function node. Double-click on the node to configure it. Set the output to complete message. Connect the nodes together. Click on the Deploy button in the top right corner of the Node-RED editor. Run the flow by clicking on the tab on the left side of the inject node labeled Start Listening. Speak a phrase into the microphone, such as, "I like this warm weather." Watson Tone Analyzer analyzes a phrase, and the highest scoring emotion, joy, lights the LED the color yellow. To stop the microphone, click on the tab on the left side of the inject node labeled Stop Listening.